Greetings and welcome to Hearthstone Theory. The end of the year is upon us, so now it is time for my top 5 greatest, craziest, and stupidest cards of the year. For these lists, the rules are simple. The greatest are the ones that are the most fun, craziest the ones that are too strong, and stupidest the ones that make people go, wait, they printed that card? Because I've literally never seen it before. For this year, we are looking at only the cards from these 3 expansions, the ones released in 2017. Bear in mind that this is just my opinion. If you think that Deck of Wonders is overpowered, or that Hadronox is super fun and inventive, then go ahead and be the best you possible. In the meantime, here is my entirely subjective list. When Journey to Un'Goro first arrived, Blizzard promised us defensive cards, and defensive cards they delivered. It was clear that one of these cards would make my list, but the only question was which one. And while I was tempted by Stonehill Defender, the 5th place crown goes to Tar Creeper. A genius way of giving tempo without giving aggression, and exactly what was needed to stop Patches from being in charge. I'll be honest guys, while many people have complained about Corridor Creeper, I've never had a problem with it. However, there's plenty of public outcry against this card due to it being a significant tempo swing if an aggressive deck starts losing. So to all players who hate our little purple abomination, here's to you. Elementals really had an uphill battle going for them in Un'Goro. The condition of, if you played an elemental last turn, was neat, but overall inflexible. And nowhere does this limit seem more apparent than with Osrook. Play at least 2 elementals, then play a 9-drop with only 5 attack? Really, Osrook? It's kind of hard to break myself upon your body, since you never show up! Quest Edition! Most quests impose limits on the deck they are in return for great power. This made most quests not worth it in the long run. So, how do you make up for an inflexible deck? Make the other deck inflexible too. Fireplume's Heart, the perfect defend yourself then roast your opponent card. Every game with this deck plays new and exciting, and this card is the heart of it. Get it? The heart? The Fireplume's Heart? Huh? You might think that nerfs would save a card from being rated on this list. Sorry, they don't. The Cavern's Blow was a quest that had no interaction. Once played, the opposing player would sit back and go, so do I lose the game? Because it's entirely dependent on forces out of my control. The card's maximum power is through the roof, which turns this card into a single roll of the dice to decide the entire fate of the game. And I personally don't want to play Yahtzee, I want to play Hearthstone. Let's face it, Un'Goro had some pretty underwhelming quests, but among all of the mediocrity, one rose as the ultimate example of failure. Ladies and gentlemen, the Marsh Queen. The sad thing about this quest being bad is that anyone who dreams of making this deck needs to face the harsh reality that it doesn't work. And that hurts, Marsh Queen. It really hurts. It's a fine line between overpowered and great, and some cards teeter on this line while angry fans pull on both sides. So some may find this card a beautiful reward for making it to 10 mana, while others call it overly strong for summoning minions, drawing cards, dealing damage, and gaining armor. Okay, enough bush beating. Ultimate Infestation is a good card, but it's good because it swings games. Some love it, some hate it. I love it. 3rd place. Ever start a game and after your opponent's first card go, oh, this is going to suck? Well, that's Prince Kaliseth for you. The thing about Dr. 2 here is that he becomes exceedingly powerful if, and only if, he's played at the start of the game. That seems fair when said out loud, but it also means that games starting with this card automatically suck. I prefer it when my games are actually fun and interactive, Kaliseth. You are the opposite of that. Let's be honest. Nobody cares about evolving spores. Do you want a reliable way to buff all of your minions that costs you the game if it fails? Then play Gentle Megasaur and don't worry about the fail possibility. This card, meanwhile, has no consistency, so there's no hope for using it correctly. So, don't. Ever. Think to yourself for a brief moment, what has been one of the most popular 1-drops since Un'Goro? No, not Patches. No, not a different pirate. Okay, we know that Corridor Creeper isn't a 1-drop. It's Firefly. At first this card might seem weak, but that hasn't stopped most aggressive decks from including it in their deck list. So it's definitely a strong 1-drop, but I doubt any player of this game has ever gone, oh no! Firefly! I don't know what I should do now! This game is over! When Raza the Chained was first released, I was fascinated by its battlecry. It was interesting, it was powerful, Then Shadow Reaper Anduin showed up and made it overpowered. Perhaps this is me condemning a single card for the sins of an entire deck, but the fact remains that this Death Knight with its refreshing hero power is absurdly powerful. At least next year it'll lose its best friend, and it'll become a shadow of its former self. Get it? Because he's a Anyone who has seen my other videos understands what I mean when I say, I hate Silver Vanguard. I could argue for days about the irredeemability of this useless card, but I've boiled it down to 1 minute. So if you want to see that 1 minute, go watch my quick take on it. For everyone else, the explanation of it sucks and rarely works should probably do well enough for you. Rest assured that this card earns its silver medal of uselessness. The best card of the year is a tricky title to bestow and must be done with care. So I ask you this. Which card has often been capable, always has a fun edge, and sometimes, but only sometimes, saves you the game? This card, for me at least, is the Lich King. Powerful on its own with the gift of extra, sometimes powerful, sometimes useless cards, this card reigns for a reason. May his seat always remain frosty, like a priest player who got his Raza stolen. Do you know what ruins a card game? A single card that's good at everything. You know, like Bone Mare. You got 7 mana 9/9, you got taunts, you got a partial charge effect if you play it right. This card gets an S rank and earns it, because no 7-drop, except maybe Dr. Boom, could ever be quite as terrible as it. Finishing this video, I had a challenge for myself. Find a card where everyone goes, wait, that's an actual card? So, here goes. It's a Warlock card. It's a 3-mana spell. It's an epic from Frozen Throne. It targets your own minions. Got it yet? It's Treachery. People can argue its use for Howlfiend or Doomsayer or whatever, but a card must stand on its own for it to be feasible in a deck. Perhaps I'll eat my words next year if this card gets a new friend and they create a singularity of stupid. Until then, may this card be remembered as the most pathetic addition in the year of the Mammoth, bar none. Anyways, that's my take on this year's cards. If you think I have missed a card that's more powerful, fun, or pathetic, let me know in the comments. I hope you all have a wonderful 2018, and I will see you all next year.